everyone goes to college and it's party time to begin
yeah,
with, bro.
dude.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're going to college a fucking multi-millionaire, bro. Get the hell
Be
out of
crazy. So
here. Yeah.
So I'll
that
just
was interesting.
go break it down person by person from just my perspective.
Okay.
So Britney Spears right now, as you can see, is like completely off the rails. She has been for a while. I just watched a podcast that Candace Owens did where she was just basically talking about all three of these people, which piqued my interest.
not
They're
necessarily
keeping him just sane enough to let him do his own damage, though.
Yeah, like even if it's just like the homie and he's like, hey, you want to hit this nitrous with me? Like just something so simple as that to where it's like getting him fucked up consistently. But
It does sound like here's how this self-defense thing's going to implode, okay? Dion, raise up your hand.
no,
Just go like
the
this.
inside or the
Go like this.
outside?
Go like this. Is that a lethal weapon?
Yes.
It
No.
can be
No.
if there's three of them.
Nope.
If he's a
That is
trained
not classified.
if he's a trained fighter,
he's a
it would
trained
be,
fighter.
Yeah.
That is not a lethal weapon,
No, it's not.
okay? If you get into a fight,
He didn't punch him.
that is not a lethal weapon. If you bring a knife to a fight, that is a lethal weapon.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brand's Red Tape Talk. I am your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion, Two Cup Larry, and Cody, Big Meat Mauk. What's going on, fellas?
I'm dressed like a bum.
I'm also dressed kind of like a bum too.
I'm always dressed like a bum.
Yeah, I was gone pretty much all week this week, so I just was like, all right.
Out of town or what?
Yeah, I was in Camp Grafton, Devil's Lake, doing some training, but I just was like, I'm not going to put any nice clothes on. I'm just going to throw these on.
They train you on recruiting up there?
It was like a leadership,
Okay.
I guess you could say, leadership training.
Nice. That's a far drive. How long were you out there? Just the day or?
Tuesday, we got up there Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, and we just got back 3:30 today.
Were you really up there just working? You got a lot of bar stamps on your hand, bro.
These are from Roman. Roman got a stamp.
Oh, Roman attacked you. Look at that.
Roman got a stamp.
I was like, this fool was out clubbing. He's lying like a mug, bro.
Yeah, he's like obsessed with stampers. So he's just like going
Tatting
around
you
stamping things. Yeah,
That's cool.
but yeah, so it's good to be back. What do we got today?
We got a lot. There's a bunch of good stuff going on. Let's start with our first segment here. Let's talk about the transfer portal and the NIL chaos.
Yeah.
So here's the big story. Excuse me. Nico Iamaleava walks from Tennessee over NIL dispute. He's Tennessee's QB. Nico Iamaleava is officially out. Requested double his NIL deal, which was already around $2 million. He missed practices, stopped communications, and hit the transfer portal. Early reports are saying UCLA is looking at him and interested. This situation is highlighting, however, the growing tensions between athletes, schools, and collectives. Some transfer portal madness begins. Over 400 players are in. The spring transfer window opened April 16th and the floodgates broke. More than 400 players entered the portal in just a few days. Athletes are trying to lock in big NIL deals now before the new NCAA rules drop this summer. The pending House versus NCAA settlement could drastically reshape NIL guidelines by July 1st. Some big-name moves. Steve Angeli, Notre Dame QB, is in the portal after failing to secure the starting job.
Ooh.
Clemson is getting picked apart. Top defensive tackle Trey Williams to Michigan, cornerback Tavoy Fegan to Ole Miss. Some teams are building up, others are bleeding talent daily. And we got some basketball NIL drama as well. Texas Tech's JT Toppin is staying in school thanks to a reported $4 million NIL deal. That's crazy, bro.
It's so good. That's
hoops,
good, though.
Yeah, it is, but it's crazy. Women's hoops getting wild, too. Is it Malaysia? Full Willie leaves South Carolina while Tania Latson transfers in from FSU. There's some bad stuff at FSU happened today, by the way.
Yeah.
Between NIL and Portal Action, teams are getting built like fantasy rosters. Schools are now fighting over athletes with boosters and brands, not just scholarships. Critics say it's becoming the Wild West with no loyalty, no structure, and all about the cash. We called this a long time ago, guys.
Yeah.
Speculation station. Could we see a unionized college athlete system by 2026? And will the NCAA lose total control if another big lawsuit hits? And is this actually good for parity or just the rich schools getting richer? What are your thoughts so far?
So I actually heard that Nico was threatening to sit during the championship if he wasn't going to get paid more. Did you guys hear that too?
I didn't
hear
last
that
year.
part.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just something that people were throwing around, but yeah, it's crazy.
That's what this is going to create, though, man. Like, these guys are now, they're doing what the pros are doing, where they're holding out and like, oh, I need a better deal, and they're playing this whole game, and they're allowed
But
to.
look what happened to that guy. Bit him in the ass because he was like, "Oh yeah, you guys got to pay me more," and they're like,
He wanted double.
"Deuces,
Yeah.
see you later." And now he did end up at UCLA for less money.
Yeah.
He's only getting $1 million now.
So
Dumbass.
the biggest issue that, like, obviously being, if I were a sports athlete and you see an individual who's making so much more money than you in the same position, but you're better than them, like your stats are even showing you're better than them, but they're just in a better opportunity, like, that's frustrating. And that's how he was feeling is he sees guys that aren't as talented as him making 10 million or 15 million and he's making 2 million. He's like, why am I only making 2? I'm better than this guy.
Yeah.
It's just the opportunity wasn't the same,
Right.
And so I fully understand like why he would do this, but just because more money doesn't mean a better situation. So I wouldn't have did it personally. But I don't know. This is obviously a mess and it should have been handled from the beginning. They should have saw this coming.
Yep.
It really destroys low level football or lower level football outside of like the top 12 teams and stuff like that. So like NDSU is going to get destroyed over something like this where there's
the transfer portal.
Yeah. So their best athletes are going to all want to get more money, obviously, because we can't pay them. Well, we could pay them a lot of money, but they're not going to pay them a lot of money.
Right.
So
they're not going to give them these $2 and $4 million
exactly.
And they shouldn't. I mean,
No.
they're not that big. I mean, NDSU is great and all, but they're not.
But that's the problem.
They're not nationally televised all the time.
When you throw that kind of money at these guys and then they have the option to play this game, that's the first thing they're going to do. Be like, well, if you're willing to give me $2 million, I wonder if someone would give me more out there. And then like they said, it's all about the cash then, man.
Yeah.
My other question is these NIL deals. It's brand sponsors, right? That
some of them,
It's all kinds of stuff.
Does the school
Endorsements,
pay 'em too?
brands.
the school will pay them too.
See, that's
the
my
thing.
other issue is like the schools are paying out all this money, but is any of that going into education?
I don't think that the schools pay them that much money. I think the brands get behind the schools and then pay them that way mostly. I don't think the school's like, hey, we'll give you this much money unless you're a really top tier athlete. I don't think they're doing that.
Then
Do you see my concern though?
I get it.
These guys are getting paid all this millions of dollars, like, but yet we're graduating people that can't even pass the ASVAB.
Yeah, I feel like the school should be the NCAA should be the ones that pay the athletes money, just like the NFL is the one that pays the athlete money. The only sponsorships that NFL athletes can do are ones that are associated with the NFL, and they get paid for them. So I feel like it has to follow suit in the NCAA. Everybody makes the same amount as a freshman, depending on how you're drafted or brought into a team. Like if you're a 5-star recruit in high school, you should make more money, obviously, than a 3-star or 2-star. D1, obviously, more money than D3,
Yeah.
So in that situation, I feel like it should just mirror the NFL. I don't think they should be making over $5 million, $2 million. That's a lot of money for somebody who's 18,
I would
19
say
years
8
old.
mil.
Yeah, I mean, $8 million, you said?
No, I would say nothing over $1 million.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dude, you're a college kid.
But they're making NCAA so much money. That's the problem. Especially if they can also, like they just brought back NCAA.
I just think it's going to be going back to the point where you made, and Tom Brady, we're just going to get less quality players in the NFL.
They're focused on the
They're
wrong
focused
shit.
on money and
they're
quality
that leads to them wanting to be flashy. They buy the fucking
they're
$1 million sports
the
cars.
NFL.
They buy the jewelry. They buy all the shit. They're no longer focused, bro. The flashy lights got their attention, and now they're not going to be the superstars they could have been because they got the grand prize early.
Yeah,
you're not going to get those 3rd round picks. Wait, Tom Brady was 3rd round, right? Was he a 3rd rounder?
He was later. He wasn't 1st round. I know that.
I think he was. Well, it could be wrong, but I think he was a 3rd rounder. But you're not going to get those guys that just like, you pick me 3rd round, I'm going to show you why that was a mistake.
So the biggest thing I see with like bringing that much money to a school, like the Colorado team, obviously they have a famous head coach, and that was a big reason why they started getting so much money to their school. But that offered those players the ability to have coaches they never would have had, who know way more than coaches they probably had prior, which obviously they weren't a very successful team. They aren't still, but they're better. So they have equipment they never would have had for at least the next 5 years.
Sure.
And I'm sure they have a better gym, a better locker room than they've ever had. So those things play into it for smaller schools, but for larger schools, obviously they already have that. So, but I was watching a YouTube video by Will Tennyson yesterday, and it was about IHG, the high school. It's like $95,000 in order to enroll your child in that school, but they live on campus, and it's just like it's basically like a college
For high school?
for high school.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
God.
freshman to senior year, it's all like sports based. Obviously, they're still going to school and want them to be extremely smart, but it's about going D1. So
Damn.
yeah, it's a pretty cool concept, but I mean, it matters to
But they live on
campus.
I don't see how that could be beneficial as a young
They
as a
eat,
young
sleep,
adult.
and breathe
Sports,
athletics.
yeah,
Yeah, I know, but I don't see that.
they watch over them more than like a regular high school too. So
As a freshman, like what are you, 14 years old? You're
Yeah.
still going to need that mentorship from your parents.
yeah, I would assume they can go home. Usually, I'm sure the parents are rich enough to do whatever they want, so I'm sure they live in that same area or have a home there. But if you're spending $95K on 1 year of education, you probably aren't doing much with your kid anyways. First off, second off, like,
Yeah, that's true.
Especially
So-
in high school, bro.
yeah.
You got to have some high hopes for your kid.
But the basketball thing, especially for basketball, when you can get out of the league or get out of college basketball at 19 years old or 18 years old in some cases, offering them money is huge because now they're going to finish their education, which, I mean, for basketball specifically, that's a big deal. Like a lot of guys who weren't going to do school, they just went to school to go play basketball in the NBA or go overseas. Now they have a reason to stay and just make this smaller amount of money and get a degree and actually pursue learning as well, So that's huge for basketball. That's a good deal. But obviously there's going to be those outliers of extremely large contracts. So I don't know, but
I just feel like if these guys are making that kind of money, they should be forced to take a financial class.
yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, there should be guidance,
should have-
in all areas of their finances, their focus, their behavior, like the whole nine. There should be very strict rules, like because that kind of money and college combined, bro. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being? Everyone goes to college and it's party time to begin.
Oh, yeah,
bro.
dude.
Yeah.
Now imagine you're going to college a fucking multi-millionaire, bro. Get the hell
It'd be
out
crazy.
Of
It'd
here.
be crazy.
Nuts, bro.
Yeah.
You see all these child actors when they grow up, they're fucked up.
And they don't even get any of their money. That's
They
the
are
crazy
fucked
thing.
Up, like Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
That kid's fucked up. man.
Weirdos.
When you're born rich, well, these guys are obviously probably not born rich, but they became rich
Quick.
Yeah.
very quick.
Like
when they're
Little
younger.
Wayne's an example. The dude was rich since he was like 14.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How he's so gangster and all that shit blows my mind because it's like you didn't need to do that. You didn't even need to pretend to do that, bro. You're set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was that image that helped him get rich and stay rich. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trash, man.
It's crazy. And I don't know. I think they shouldn't be making more than any NFL player. I think that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, there's NFL players that, especially like linemen and shit, they're in like, $600,000-700,000.
Yeah.
How does a college player who you haven't even see play at that level yet make more money than an NFL player?
That is super wild. That's why I like that 5-star quarterback recruit we talked about a couple times on the show. Like how he's gonna make that much money is insane. Like I'd be so frustrated. Like if I were a new running back in the NFL, like they get abused, especially like the Dallas Cowboys running backs for the past however many years. They treat them like they are garbage and just run them till they're gone, and then they're like, "Get out of here, you're done. You're on to the next team."
Yeah.
So like, and they don't make that much money. They don't make anywhere near that much money, and they're the backbone of a team, So for a college quarterback to be doing that's
insane.
What do you guys think about the Buffs retiring Shadur and Travis Hunter's number?
I don't think they're going to have very many talents like that in Colorado, to be honest with you. So I don't mind it. I don't think it'll be. I think Travis Hunter for sure, because that is special. People don't do that, even on
play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it's hard, and like the amount of effort it takes to just stay on top of all the pain and stay in shape and play all those games. It's not
How do you think
humanly
they're
possible
do in the NFL.
I think that Shadur isn't going to be that great. I think that Travis Hunter will be really good.
As offense or defense?
He said he doesn't want to play unless he gets to play both sides of the ball, but I would like to see him play defense. Just because he'll play longer, he'll make more money. It'd be smarter for him.
I saw his what do they call it when they were doing
combine?
Yeah, he was getting burned a couple times.
Yeah. It's tough, especially now. Wide receivers are insane. I don't know if I was watching Hunter Renfrow run routes on a highlight reel earlier today, and he's so fast, and he's a white guy, so he's so fast, dude. Like he damn near
it's like impossible almost.
Yeah, for a white guy. No, I'm just kidding.
How is that even doable?
He jukes sideways, damn near touches the ground with his knee, but goes the other way and gets back up like in like that quick.
Yeah,
like
nuts.
I would break my knee so fast if somebody did that to me. I wouldn't.
I mean,
even...
that's just progression of the game. You look back at like when Randy Moss, all they did was just fucking bomb it to guys, and then they would catch it. But nowadays, these guys are just able to just cut on a dime
so fast.
And then just make those one-handed catches.
That's the gloves. I don't
totally
give that.
Gloves.
I don't give
totally
that. The fact
they're
that
probably sticky as hell, but
they're making them that way.
The sprawling out, I'll give them. That is impressive because it hurts when you fall.
For sure.
That is impressive. You're willing to like hurt yourself basically to catch a football. But the glove is if you get that glove on there and you squeeze a tad bit, you're good, dude. And those guys have hands as big as mine, if not bigger. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, I would, I mean, there's not that many great cornerbacks that are just like super popular. And I think he could be that. There are great cornerbacks, don't get me wrong, but they're not like as out there anymore as they used to be. There's only maybe 2 or 3. Like Jalen Ramsey was a solid guy. It still is. There's the guy from the Seahawks. I can't remember his name, but he was super popular for a little bit because he used to talk so much trash and then he stopped. So, I mean, he's probably just not as good anymore, but stuff like that. So,
Sherman?
Yeah, Richard Sherman was solid.
Yep.
So, I don't think he plays anymore, though.
He's a host now, isn't he?
Yep.
So, I don't know. But there's also really good wide receivers where they're making millions of dollars, like Justin Jefferson, and they don't even have to catch the football. So, it's like...
Yeah, he didn't have a very big year this last year, did he?
He did not catch a lot of footballs, that's for sure. I was very disappointed. Sucks for fantasy football, but they didn't have...
Sounds like they're going with J.J. McCarthy.
I don't think they're going to be very good this year, but I think in a couple of years they'll start to figure it out. They need to just figure out their quarterback and put some good linemen on the ground.
I think that's what they're doing.
It'll be good. But J.J. McCarthy just got hurt on his first year, and now he's going to have to refigure it out. Hopefully he got it down, got everything like mentally down, and he can get back out there. But
you think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere?
Yeah, he's going to go to the Steelers. It sounds like
he's not thinking about Steelers.
Where's he going to go? No one else wants him. Yeah, I was going to say that would be. You want to end on that though?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what if it gets worse though?
You really can't get worse, dude. Darkness retreat.
Yeah,
You can't really get worse from coming out of a darkness retreat, tearing your Achilles, and then doing one really crappy season. Like, he could go one more. I'd like to see it for sure. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is something else. I'd like to see him go to the Vikings and just mentor JJ McCarthy. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because he did a great job with Jordan Love for a while. So
Man, these quarterbacks that get signed for 1 or 2 years for freaking millions of dollars.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Like Kirk Cousins.
dude,
That guy made out like a bandit.
Who else?
He did.
Didn't they just re-sign? What's his name? Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't he just sign like a 1-year deal too, or something like
He
that?
signed with the Giants, him and what's the other guy's name? Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
He's always freaking the funniest dude on the field. Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, and then the Giants have Tommy DeVito, I think. So they're gonna battle it out for
Where's
whoever
Fields?
starts.
Is he still in the
Justin Fields?
Steelers?
No, he got traded too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they both only made it a year?
Yeah, that's why it was weird because they're like, who are they going to get? So I think they have to get Aaron Rodgers unless they're going to draft somebody, but they'd have to move up. I'm pretty positive to because they went to the playoffs, so they're not
wow.
up there in the draft.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was weird they got rid of Russell. Honestly, he should have stayed, but they got rid of them both. I'm pretty positive. So,
No confidence.
but yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting year. I think like the Commanders will probably be the best. Somebody that makes a lot of money is like Trey Lance. It's insane to think like
They
he's
signed him for another year, right?
just on the bench riding it, like making that money. I'm sure he hates it deep down, like because he wants to be that guy. But
Is he a second string or third string?
Second string.
Second string?
Yeah, right behind. No, he's third string.
Yeah.
No, Cooper Rush went somewhere. I think they traded Cooper Rush to a team. He might be on the Steelers.
You might be right, actually.
Because I'm pretty positive Cooper Rush got traded. So, yeah, now Trey Lance would be second string. He's been third string to Cooper Rush.
And they're sticking with
Dak.
the boy.
Yeah.
The boy.
We them boys.
So, women's basketball, they had the draft. You guys see that You guys watched the draft? Women's draft?
Yeah,
basketball?
dude.
You watched it?
No. Just saw the meme
I got a video from that girl we could play.
the one
The
that
hottest chick in
That's the one, just that
game,
one.
bro.
That's all I saw.
Yeah.
That shit was funny as hell.
She got drafted number 1.
Yeah.
She's gonna make like $200,000 over 3 years.
Nah, but her endorsements will be good. We learned that from Angel Reese.
That is
Who
true.
cried about her salary and then bragged about all the shit she's
Got
buying.
that McDonald's, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Bro, I'm telling you, they're just throwing stuff at her to gaslight her and give her some kind of image
I'd
because
be
she's
okay
not
with
worthy.
that.
Yeah, for real, who
I'd be
wouldn't
okay
be?
with that.
Because she's just not worthy of it at all. Like
Yeah.
it'd be like if they did that for LeBron's son. Oh wait, they did.
See, but now she's turning the page on like saying, "Oh, the money's not coming, the money's not here." She's like, "The money's gonna be here soon," because like people talk bad about it. So Krishan Rock,
Yeah,
the girl that has nothing to
compared
do with
her to
sports.
Jordan.
Yeah, she said, oh,
She should make what LeBron makes.
yeah, you guys do the same thing, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But it's like, and then she said, you guys got to get more money. And she said, the money's coming. Don't worry about it. Instead of saying, yeah, they need to pay us more, which is what she was doing at first. So
It's just funny how they, like, the only people holding Caitlin Clark up is the fan base. Otherwise, it's like
Right.
the league and everyone else, they're all highlighting Angel Reese. It's this whole political play on race, man. I'm so over this shit, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, if they
Just
had
let
more
greatness
viewers,
be
it would
great.
really
You
be
don't
a
have to
problem.
colorize everything. You know what I mean? Like, just let greatness be great, bro. It doesn't matter if it's a white person, black person. Like, just let them be who they're supposed to be to the game and stop trying
Well,
to
you guys saw
highlight
that
certain individuals.
the finals for women's college basketball, the viewership dropped
Yeah.
like 14
Now that
million
Caitlin's not
or
there.
something.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like astronomical. The views dropped. Crazy.
yeah, I don't know. It's almost
Right.
like,
We'll close out on this one here, and then we'll move on to the next segment here.
Go
But
ahead.
this shit's funny.
Hottest chick to get drafted first overall in WNBA fucking history. And let's be real, it's good for the game because the truth is that people only watch women's sports to see attractive ladies get sweaty. Now, the feminists will hate on me for saying the truth, but I mean, we can't even fucking dunk or anything. And we got to give them something to actually watch. Looks-wise, nobody even comes close to me. Not that plain Jane Caitlin Clark or that pale fucking tomboy Sabrina Ionescu Major Yuck. Not a single guy in this world is going to crank one out while thinking about any of these fugly hoopers. So that's probably why they all fucking date each other. Look, everyone already knows I can ball, and that's why I got drafted. But I'm the complete package. I'm the hottest chick to get.
That's so good.
That's good. That's so good.
That's great.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, let us know what you think down in the comments. The NIL transfer portal, is it going to be chaos? Is it setting these guys up for failure? Or do you think it's a good thing? And tell us why. We'll look at our comments. Let's move on to the next segment here. We're talking mind control and meltdowns, the pop star breakdown pattern. So the pattern nobody talks about: fame, breakdown, and recovery. Bieber, Spears, and Jackson, three of the biggest global stars in modern pop history, all rose to superstardom young, controlled heavily by handlers, and later showed signs of serious mental instability or breakdowns. What's odd? The breakdown pattern is eerily similar: erratic behavior, strange public appearances, health issues, and sudden media demonization. Then, some form of containment, rehabilitation, or disappearance from the spotlight. Some theories and speculation: MK Ultra, mind control, and industry puppetry. For Britney Spears, her conservatorship or captivity. For 13 years, she lived under a conservatorship. Fans believe she was a victim of MK Ultra style mind control, constantly monitored and medicated. Her social media posts often show cryptic messages, bizarre dance videos, and strange repetition. Some say it's hidden cries for help. In one deleted post, she wrote, "They say I'm crazy, but what if I'm just the only sane one left?" During the hashtag Free Britney movement, fans speculated that she was being drugged to suppress outbursts and maintain control for profit. Justin Bieber, clones, handlers, and disassociation. Bieber has publicly spoken about demons in the industry, once hinting, "They made me do things I regret." Some believe Bieber suffered disassociation due to trauma-based programming, often referring to himself in the third person or using duality language. A viral theory claims the real Bieber vanished after his 2014 breakdown and was replaced by a handler-controlled version or clone. In music videos like Yummy, theorists believe he was exposing pedophilia in Hollywood through symbolism, pink rooms, childlike food themes, creepy elite diners, etc. And then we got Michael Jackson, programmed, broken, eliminated. MJ spoke frequently about being targeted by the industry, calling Sony's then president the devil. He hinted that his catalog was being stolen and that he was being silenced for exposing truths. The doctor behind his overdose, Conrad Murray, was widely believed to be a fall guy, while others think MJ was eliminated because he knew too much. Theories suggest MJ's Neverland Ranch was bugged and he was under heavy surveillance for years. Shortly before his death, he recorded audio saying, "They're going to kill me. They want my music catalog." Symbolism across all three. All three of these have been associated with butterflies, a known symbol of Project Monarch, a subset of MK Ultra. They've appeared in photo shoots with masks, blindfolds, checkered board floors, and other occult industry symbols, and each made reference, cryptic or subtle, to losing time, memory lapses, and struggling to feel real. Some real-life parallels and psychological toll. Constant touring, financial control by others, being treated as products since childhood, all hallmarks of trauma programming. Mental health issues? Yes, but also potentially a symptom of something much more sinister. Public meltdowns could be breakdowns in their programming, the moment when the persona fractures from too much pressure. Then here's some talking points on these. Were these icons trying to warn us about something? Were they victims of systematic abuse by elite industry power structures? And why do so many child stars follow the same path? Is it just pressure or deliberate grooming and breakdown? And are celebrity rehabs really healing or reprogramming facilities to reassert control? All very interesting speculative theories for sure. but make a lot of sense, especially the Justin Bieber video they refer to. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's got all the pedophilia symbolism in it.
Sure.
It's got like just crazy stuff that we talk about in conspiracy theories all the time that people do within the industry to kids growing up. So, I mean,
can you scroll up to the three? I don't know. Remember, if Britney was the first one.
Oh yeah.
I was watching something where it said Michael Jackson was buying up very popular music groups and songs that they were releasing, and that was part of the reason why they wanted to the Sony owner wanted to get after him, because they realized he was like actually gaining control and power of music in general. So
I'll just go break it down person by person from just my perspective.
Okay.
So Britney Spears right now, as you can see, is like completely off the rails. She has been for a while. I just watched a podcast that XII did where she was just basically talking about all three of these people, which piqued my interest. And basically what she was saying is that these people have a way of breaking people's minds using antidepressants and certain drug cocktails.
Like what Kanye talked about, his personal trainer. He's like, he's a Hollywood personal trainer. Yeah. Tell me why he has the ability to drug me and other people in Hollywood when we get out of line.
Yep. So they use these cocktails to basically just melt somebody's brain. And I think that she is the product of that. Yep. She probably was at a time when she was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And they're like, all right, we're going to take care of that. And just completely melted her brain. And that's what we got now. That's what you're seeing.
It's batshit crazy that someone can be even in a conservatorship as an adult, that a judge, a court can deem you unfit to manage your own well-being, your life, your finances, everything when you're rich and famous. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that, these controllers and these handlers are legit, man. Every one of these people in Hollywood has them. You cannot be as famous as they are and have as big of followings as they do, for example, The Rock, and not be controlled, bro.
Yeah.
And we see that. We see the flip-flop in people like The Rock. We see, them come out and say stuff that makes zero sense whatsoever to the average person watching what's going on in the world, and have someone like The Rock who would say, he met with Biden and Kamala and he's going to advocate for them because this is the right choice. And it's just like that wasn't even believable when he said it, bro. Yeah. It was just like, no way, what's going on here? So again, you see like handlers and controllers and all these people, these big followings, they don't want you to have the freedom to say and do what you want with that following. They need to control you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I find it weird. Like Jack Black is another one. Him and Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Like they are.
You want to talk about being sold out? Jason Momoa is doing some bro,
super weird stuff.
And have you seen the speculation around like his perversion with his own daughters, man?
No, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, they show weird stuff of the way he like touches them and how uncomfortable they get around him and stuff too. It's super awkward, bro.
After he did that one of the last Fast movie, I think it was, and he was like the weird villain. I was like, dude, what is going on? They didn't need to do this. Yeah. Like this was never what this was.
Yeah.
So
it's strange. Man.
But Jack Black is.
Did you watch the Minecraft movie?
I've not watched it, but I've seen like so much popularity
it's weird,
in it,
man. And I didn't watch it, but I mean, like the ads that I've seen, I'm like, what is Jason Momoa doing?
Yeah. So Jack Black is doing something too, but I don't think people see it as clearly as what they should. Jack Black is appealing to all the young people as best as he possibly can. He did Mario by being Bowser, right? Mm-hmm. The number one character in that movie. The song that he did was the most famous thing from that movie. Now he's doing Minecraft, and like, why is he doing Minecraft? It doesn't really add up. I don't get it. I'll have to watch the movie because it must be just like him, I guess. Like that's his role. But I feel like it's very odd that he's doing all these kids movies now when it wasn't like that wasn't his forte before.
Right.
That's
strange.
I don't know. It's odd. But he is controlled for sure. I just wanted to point that out.
Break down Michael next.
Scroll down a little bit. We got Bieber. So Bieber is interesting because of all of the Diddy accusations and stuff. And then you see all these videos of on Instagram. Like there was a compilation of a bunch of these like actors and actresses and musicians that were like touching him inappropriately in public when he was underage. Yeah. Like as a kid, they were just like groping him and stuff.
I mean, they still do that to him now.
Yeah, but at the time, it's like
kissing him and shit.
It
like
was
older
super
women. And
weird,
stuff
but
too,
nobody
yeah.
did anything about it.
Yeah.
And remember when he was like really on a religious kick, and he was like praying in his concerts, and all of a sudden, and now you're seeing. him.
Bro, he made a whole gospel album.
Yeah,
like he was singing Christian music. I mean, up to date from what I know, but right now he's on a weird like spiral.
And then he had that video of like he got freaking Huntsman syndrome or something like that. Remember that when his half of his face was like droopy?
Yep.
Remember that?
Cancel his shows and everything.
That was weird, right?
I'd never seen that before.
That was so
until
weird.
I saw that.
That was weird. And then now you're seeing him like he's like he cannot stand being out in public. Like he every time I see a video of him out in public, he just absolutely hates it. And he just looks freaking rough, dude. The kid looks rough.
Yeah, look at this is a Bieber before and a Bieber now.
That's just not. That doesn't look good. He just looks withered. But
yeah, some guy.
So there's something going on there. And my guess is like he's extremely stressed out. Like he's probably fighting on all fronts to this big, huge devil machine that is the industry.
Yeah.
That's what I could see. They're trying to get after him, and he's not just because he's getting attacked by everybody right now.
I believe,
including the media.
I believe it's totally satanic in that world, man.
For sure.
Like, there's not a doubt in my damn mind. You know, like even the little bit that I dabbled in the music industry, bro, where we went to further places than the average person in the music game. The stuff that you seen at that level was super strange. As little as going down to Hollywood or Beverly Hills, bro, we'd go to like album release parties or video release parties, and we got in a couple video shoots and stuff that were in MTV as like cameos and stuff too, as up and coming artists under Cypress Hill, you know. So we got to go to these crazy parties, bro, where like no rules apply. Like if we go to a club right now, just us regular dudes where celebrities and stuff don't hang out, you got to abide by the rules. There's no doing drugs. There's no smoking weed in the clubs. There's no, bro, you go to these celebrity parties and it all goes. The bathroom attendants have cocaine and fucking joints, bro. People are rolling joints and snorting coke on the tables in the club, walking around, drinking. Everyone's smoking joints, like, and nobody says nothing in these clubs. You know what I mean? We went and met with our record label manager at a really famous like rock club in Hollywood. That's where he hangs out. He's like the head guy for Cypress Hill, or like the manager dude. And we're sitting at this table, and this dude's got a bunch of hoes with him because he's like a Mexican pimp dude too. And we're outside in the patio area of this club, and marijuana, I don't know if it was legal. It wasn't legal at this time in California. And we're smoking joints sitting at the table in the patio of this restaurant, and like all the owners come out and shit, and this dude's like barking commands to the guys who own the place and telling them, hey, go to my car in my trunk, and I got a bag of weed in there, bring that to me and shit. You know, like just all this little things. Like it seems like nothing, but for us, we were like shocked, bro. We were like, damn, like you could literally do anything you want. Yeah. When you come from this realm, bro, from Hollywood, you know, the fame. And shortly after that, we made a song about Hollywood too, where we talked about, you know, how we were making it in the game, but we're not like these people in Hollywood and stuff too. So because it was inspired by our experience of like, damn, you know, we say something about like, you know, wanting the celebrity or the respect of what you get to have when you're in that game, but without the fame. You know what I mean? Like we didn't want the fame and the recognition. We just wanted to be able to make the money in the industry, but we realized, man, you can't. There's a certain level you reach where you have to just sell out, or you won't go there. Sure. You know what I mean? You won't peak at that highest level. You'll just be dead in the water because you didn't give in to the industry, to the games, to the corruption, to the, you know, but they draw you in because they make it all appeal to you. Like, damn, if I was rich and famous like these guys, I could do whatever the fuck I want, which is why I'm so heavy about rich privilege being a thing and not white privilege, because I've seen all races in Hollywood and Beverly Hills get away with whatever the hell they want because they're rich and famous.
Definitely.
So that happens for sure, man.
Yeah, that Yummy video, though, I definitely, you guys want to check that out because it's Very strange.
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. You see it on conspiracy theory pages and shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And then next is Michael Jackson. So what is the number one thing that you think about when you hear about Michael?
Child predator.
Child predator, right? That's what everybody would think of because it was on basically the news 24/7 that Michael Jackson was a pedophile.
It was insane because when he died, it was like forgotten about instantly, and he was played on everything for like 2 weeks straight. I remember that's all I would.
Well, you know that was all made up.
So
and
that's what I'm getting at.
they've come forward now. Like the kid that accused him came forward and said his parents forced him to do it, and they got paid like X amount of dollars for it too.
The case was dismissed.
Yeah,
they didn't have any evidence whatsoever, but he was tried by the media and found guilty by the media.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual evidence, the case was dismissed because they had nothing on the guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because the media still ran with it. The interesting thing was that, yes, he was working for Sony, I believe, and Sony was run by...
Do I say it?
Yeah.
People from Israel.
There you go. And so he called it out, actually.
On They Don't Care About Us. That song.
He called it out and
hit me, kick me, sue me, Jew me.
One of you guys
but he
sent
said
that
it
in
on
the
a press
group chat
conference.
then, because I watched that. And
I think I sent it, obviously, because I'm the semi.
He said it during like an interview or press conference or something like that. He's like, I'm gonna take back the music and give it back to the artists or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all went downhill.
Because he was buying music from like the Beatles and stuff like that.
Yeah, he
like,
owned their
super
catalog.
popular.
I think he bought Elvis's catalog.
Yeah.
He bought Eminem's catalog when Eminem dissed him. When Eminem was making fun of him, he was just everyone like said he was pissed about it, but he was just like, okay, and he just went and bought his whole music catalog up.
Boss move to do.
Yeah, it is, bro.
But yeah, and Macaulay Culkin was one of the kids that he was hanging out with.
Really good friends with him.
He came out and said, no, absolutely nothing happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing happened. Michael did not like being out in public, but he related to children.
Yeah.
Because he was stuck in his childhood, they said, because he was a famous child, musician.
Whole family is famous, yeah.
Yeah, but he outshined everybody, you know what I mean? And so he got the pressure, he got the brunt of it. His dad was super abusive to his mom, to all the family, so like, yeah, they came from, but again, who knows who his dad really was, bro, that he coincidentally fits the mold of the way they want to treat you in the industry. Anyway, they were probably like, what was his dad's name? Joe Jackson. They're probably like, go ahead, Joe, do your thing, like, because he was working on behalf of them by default or by plan. I don't know, but he raised his kids with the same way or the same fashion that the industry raises kids. Like if you look at all the kids that are now famous today that are adults, they all came from, well, at least earlier on, they all came from Disney. And then it transferred to Nickelodeon.
Yep.
So all these child actors, like the Mickey Mouse Club, bro, you're talking Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, all these kids that were famous at the same time had all come from the Mickey Mouse Club back in the day, which was like a really popular kids Disney show. And they tell stories now about when back in those days during the Mickey Mouse Club, like there was a lot of child pedophilia and corruption going on in the way that these kids were being raised, and they were being taken from their parents and, told that they have to, be with this person who would be like their babysitter or watch over them, their handlers, so to speak. And that's just kind of, and parents do it because they just offer millions of dollars to it.
That's
and they're like, oh yeah, cool. We'll just be over here living it up while he's getting famous and doing this thing. And they just let it ride, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. The trust that some parents give to randoms is just
no way, bro.
Astonishing.
No way.
And then you got this doctor that's supposed to be a doctor that accidentally overdoses him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
Was it before a show that it happened?
He was about to go on tour.
Yeah.
It was going to be his last tour, and he just happened to get overdosed by.
When did he die? What year? Do you know? Anybody?
2000 and.
I remember I was in South Dakota when he died. That's all I can remember. So I was really young. I had to have been like 10, 8.
Yeah, I can't
2000.
I know it was 2000 something.
9.
It's got to be in that range. It's got to be in between 8 to 10 because I was
would
not very
say
old.
2009 maybe.
You're probably right.
But
That's crazy.
anyways, I think it's all connected.
Yeah, there's something going on for sure. But that's long been speculated about the music industry and, people being controlled.
But even
just now
Hollywood,
we have
they're
so
all a
much
bunch of
more proof
freaks,
and
too.
evidence. Yeah, Hollywood in general, bro.
Yeah.
Because these artists are dropping hints, you know what I mean, in their music videos. There's now what I have in question is who wrote the songs specifically for them when they did do stuff like that, right? When there were subtle hints, and then who directed the videos, and was it really the artists themselves doing it, or is it the controllers doing it because they like to tell us what they're doing out loud and leave us to speculate, but know that we can't do a damn thing about it? You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to believe like, yeah, he's trying to tell us something, but I don't think that's the case. I think what's happening is the controllers or the handlers are making it out to look that way, like purposely telling us everything they do. They're rubbing it in our faces like they like to do. And that's because that's post making that video is where he started to spiral down again. You know what I mean? Britney Spears, Michael Jackson. I mean, I would even believe Chris Brown's situation. I think it's why a lot of the black culture dudes turn to the street life and the gang thug shit, because it's the only way they can combat what they had to do to get there.
What do you think? What do you think Kanye is trying to achieve?
I think he's trying to tell us himself. I don't think anyone's controlling him to tell us. I think he's trying to tell us.
Do you think that there's any
method to the mayhem?
No, like is he off at all?
I think he's drugged up.
He's definitely drugged up.
He's exposed this to us when he had his first run, when he really was talking like the Jews this, the Jews that. I mean, he did interviews where he showed the text messages, bro, on video of the guy that I was talking about, the trainer and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like
he was like an Israeli,
but yes, it was
intelligence.
Yeah,
and he literally said though that this guy in the text messages said, "Hey, you can either stop the shit that you're doing, talking about the Jews, or I can highly medicate you again and you won't be able to function anymore. So even if you do get to see your kids again, you won't be able to be a good father to them because you'll be so drugged up."
Yeah.
Like, how could he say something like that to Kanye with that kind of confidence if he didn't know for a fact that's what he's capable of doing and he can make it happen?
So you think that Kanye's brain is a little mixed right now?
I think he's combating it somehow mentally, and they're trying to distort him. And so it comes out super weird, you know what I mean? Like the way Britney Spears comes out. Justin, he's turning to drugs probably because he just can't handle the pressure because he's got a lot of freedoms and they need him to be who he is. Yeah. But Britney Spears, like, bro, I think she's just spiraled out. The drugs or whatever they're doing to her, like people are saying, it's like a glitch in the MK Ultra or the programming that we're seeing in these people. When she shaved her head and did all that crazy shit, I'm sure that's what it was about. It was glitching out, you know what I mean? Where Kanye, I really believe that he's trying to fight against whatever they're doing to him, whether it's drugging him or whatever it might be.
I think he still has like those bad actors in his camp where
and he doesn't realize it maybe.
Yeah, and they're manipulating him to do drugs, not necessarily.
They're keeping him just sane enough to let him do his own damage though.
Yeah, like even if it's just like the homie and he's like, "Hey, you want to hit this nitrous with me?" Like just something so simple as that. To where it's like getting him fucked up consistently, but it
does sound like he's single now.
That does now it does look like he's single. Yeah, he posted that himself this time though.
They called her back to the Mossad, bro.
Yeah,
he said your work here is done. You're free.
Which is kind of weird, crazy. Because, like she showed up to that thing like butt ass naked, and then like shortly after that, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm divorcing him."
She said it was because of the tweets about Taylor Swift, I think was what I thought it was about, maybe, but I'm not sure because he was saying Taylor Swift got Eiffel Towered by
Bieber
and another pop star, Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. That's right. Yeah,
it's like Prince Harry. Yeah, so he said that, and I think
but that's another one. Wasn't Harry Styles one of the winners of like America's Got Talent or some shit like that?
Yeah, he wears
and
dresses.
Then he became a super woke weirdo kind of guy, bro.
Dresses.
Yeah,
Young Thug just got off of a RICO charge that was definitely very plausible, and he wears dresses and paints.
But this is how they gain more control, bro. It's like Snoop Dogg back in the day. This has been going on for so long, right? They put a murder charge on Snoop, and then they got him off the murder charge. And the first song that he put out after he got out was "Murder Was the Case," where he made a deal with the devil in the video.
Yeah.
He said, I'll get you off, give your life to me, I'll make it better. But how long will I live? Eternal life and forever. But how will I be the G? Like, this was all him making a deal with the devil and telling us about it. That's how he got his murder charge dropped, because he knows the people that got him off cut him a deal and said, hey, we'll make you rich and famous forever. You just got to let us control you.
Work for us.
You know what I mean?
That's the type of thing that I like. There's no way Young Thug and Gunna and all those dudes.
They just gained more control of him by this.
Yeah,
they manipulated him, scared him with the threat of life in prison and all these charges. And then when they got him alone, they said, look, we can take care of this, but this is what we're going to need from you.
Yeah.
We need you to corrupt the minds of the youth, not just any youth, the ones that look like you.
Yeah.
And he said, okay.
I've already been doing that. I'll just do it more.
Whatever it is, when they get off of stuff like that, bro, like, again, rich privilege, man.
Yeah.
We're seeing rich privilege. That's a black dude. It's not a white privilege issue. We're seeing rich privilege concerns here in the world. That's what it boils down to. It's crazy. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. I know this is a heavy conspiracy theory one here, but there's a lot of evidence to really point towards this maybe being plausible. So get in the comments, tell us what your thoughts are, let us know what you think, or if you have any other potentials that you can mention and bring up. Otherwise, let's move on to the next one. This is a good one here too. The Karmelo Anthony case. So unpacking the facts and fallout. So quick overview. On April 2nd, 2025, a fatal altercation occurred at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas, resulting in the death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. The accused, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, allegedly stabbed Metcalf during a confrontation. Witnesses reported that Anthony entered the Memorial High School team tent, leading to a dispute that escalated into violence. Legal proceedings. Anthony was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, initially held on a $1 million bond. A judge later reduced it to $250,000, allowing Anthony to be released under house arrest with an ankle monitor. Conditions of his release include restricted movement, mandatory check-ins, and no contact with the victim's family. The family's public response so far: Anthony's mother, Carla Hayes, addressed the public for the first time, expressing the family's distress over the incident and subsequent threats they've received. She clarified that the family had not yet accessed the funds from a Give, Send, Go fundraiser, countering misinformation circulating online, where they're talking about this new almost $1 million home they moved into in a gated community. Rented.
Which is so weird.
Of course the money didn't come in then,
yeah.
But it's there, and you could pull that off real easy. You know what I mean? Educational impact. Frisco ISD has initiated proceedings to expel Anthony, citing that severity of the severity of the charges. The district stated that students charged with serious crimes are subject to disciplinary action, including potential expulsion, following a review process. In the fundraising efforts and the controversies, supporters have raised over $450,000 for Anthony's legal and family expenses through Give, Send, Go. A separate fundraiser in memory of Austin Metcalf has garnered over $350,000, reflecting the community support for both families during this tragedy. Social media discussions have emerged regarding the Anthony family's reported purchase of a new home and vehicle following the fundraising efforts. Ongoing investigation, authorities continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident, including claims of self-defense made by Anthony. The case has attracted national attention, highlighting issues related to youth violence and school safety. So, another big one here, because there's only speculation to go around right now. But the idea that, or the fact that we can't get a straight story, not from AI, not from news sources, not from media, anything about what actually took place. There's tons of witnesses involved here, but no one wants to say who started what and how it all went down. They just say the overall, overview of what happened here. There was an altercation, someone got stabbed and killed.
And somebody claims self-defense.
And someone's claiming, but who did what to who to initiate this, right? They say he approached the Metcalfs. Why? And what happened in that discussion? What was the argument? What was the fight? You know what I mean? What led to all this? With all the witnesses they claim to have, nobody's told the story straight yet that I've seen.
Yeah.
There's only been people making accusations or trying to make claims to what they think, what they're saying the truth is, but nobody's actually said, no, here is how it went down.
Here's how this self-defense thing is going to implode, okay? Dion, raise up your hand.
No.
Just go like
the
this.
inside or the
like
outside?
This. Go like this. Is that a lethal weapon?
Yes.
It can be.
No.
If there's 3 of them.
Nope.
If he's a
not classified.
If he's a trained fighter.
If he's a trained fighter.
Yeah.
That is not a lethal weapon.
No, it's not.
Okay? If you get into a fight,
You didn't punch him.
that is not a lethal weapon. If you bring a knife to a fight, that is a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
It's also no longer self-defense if you showed up and initiated the situation too.
So, like I said, in these track meets, all of these different teams have their own tents.
Yeah.
From my understanding, these boys were underneath their team's tent. This Anthony went over to their tent and sat down in their tent. And so these boys approached him and said, hey, you got to go. And that's when the altercation started. And there was, I think he said there wasn't even a fist thrown.
Yeah, so
There was pushing and shoving, but there was no fist thrown, I think.
from the arrest reports, which I read all the way through, and there was like 6 different cops on that arrived on scene, and they all had to give their story. Obviously, some of them have body cam footage. Some of them didn't have their body cam working at the time, which is pretty wild. But it sounds reasonable. It wasn't like suspicious by any means. But I think 3 kids gave their testimony as to what happened after the event. And so the gist of what I got from those reading those was that Karmelo Anthony had walked to the tent. He said, or he was standing there, and the brother or whatever, I don't remember his name. What is his name? I'm sorry.
Austin.
So he got up and said, "Hey, you can't be in here. You got to get out of here." And
Did he use the N-word?
It doesn't say anything about the N-word being
I'm
used.
just curious where all the white supremacy claims come from.
And I think that might have just been just to spark everything right away, but you never know how information spreads, you know. But what these kids had said is, he said you couldn't be in here, and the guy said, Karmelo said, what are you gonna do? Hit me? And he said no, or he didn't say anything, and he said
he went there prepared to instigate something, bro.
Yeah, he said you got to get out of here now. He said punch me in the face, see what happens, and then he goes to his bag, grabs a knife, and then Austin doesn't see that he grabbed a knife. He just saw that he dug in his bag, and he goes and he pushes him, and from there, then he gets stabbed in the chest. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
See, and then this whole freaking money raising thing, it just...
Look, regardless of whether he's innocent or not, that's not what you do with fundraising money for this situation. You don't go buy a new house and a fucking new car with that money, bro. That's like legal fees and everything else that could come about if you're really about innocence and defending yourself. The first instinct you get is, we got to go buy a new house in a gated community that's almost $1 million and get a new ride, even though we're just bailing our son out of fucking jail for murder right now.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest first instinct for anyone to have, bro. I don't care who you are.
That was on a defense, like for the case itself.
Within 2 weeks.
That is a bad look.
Yeah, within 2 weeks of it happening is crazy.
They still have to, this thing is going to go to trial.
Yeah.
And the mom's arguing, like, in response to people, getting upset about them purchasing this new house and car. She's like, well, we haven't even got the money from the Give, Send, Go yet. So, okay, but yeah, you didn't buy the house. That's what a lot of media is saying.
Nor did you need the money.
They rented the house. So you don't need you can go to anywhere in town and show somebody that you got $500K sitting in the bank right now and tell them who you are in a national, news story, and fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Why are they
Anyone will
the house?
credit you. Because
I don't know.
It's the dumbest thing you do with money right away. I'm just telling you. Like, if they won the lottery, it'd be a different story. But this isn't winning the lottery.
Nor does that money go away.
They got almost $500,000 from a fundraiser for their son's legal issues and his extraordinarily high bail.
Yeah.
And then they spent that money on getting into a new house, a new car. They bought furniture and clothes and everything to suit the house up with.
Which $250,000 $250,000 is what it is,
That's
right?
what they got it down to from $1 million.
Yeah, but 250. The bond isn't that just 10% of that? So 2,500.
Yep.
No, 25,000.
25,000.
Why did they reduce it? What was the reasoning?
I don't even know.
I think it might be because he's not an adult, but I don't know either.
Or maybe just the speculation of a self-defense claim and everything too. And
It's not self-defense. At the end of the day, that is if how those kids portrayed it happening, where he was pushed, that's not self-defense. If all three of them stood up and like one of them punched him and they were about to beat his,
him.
They
surrounded him.
Still, if he didn't get punched, that's not self-defense.
That's not a good look.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like it's you're not in fear for your life. I don't know what the laws are in Texas, but if that were to happen here and I got pushed by somebody and I decided to shoot them, that's not self-defense.
Right.
I wouldn't be okay with that unless they said I have a gun and I'll hurt you, and then they push me and then I shot them, then I maybe be okay, but I have to make sure that that's known.
Yeah.
You know? So
but it's the same thing with like, and again, you guys, we wouldn't even hear this if it was white on white or if it was black on black.
Yeah, it is crazy.
We would have never heard about.
No, this is a story they could run.
BLM's going to run with this. Like,
they can carry this somewhere.
This has BLM all over it. They're going to utilize these funds and they're going to buy whatever. But my curiosity is, if this kid gets let off, what's going to happen? That's what I really want to know.
Yeah. He shouldn't. That'd be insane. I feel like that would be a really disappointing feat to see for the justice system to be abused. I mean, we've seen it before, being abused by the media, where the media decides the trial before it even starts.
The media becomes the judge and the jury before there's even a trial set up, man.
Yeah, especially in a situation
where
they
always lean in one direction.
Yeah, in a situation where he is not innocent by any means and should honestly be charged as an adult, as a 17-year-old who deliberately caused a crime. First off, without killing him, you can't bring weapons to a high school. First off, so that's premeditated in general, because you're choosing to be able to hurt somebody like that. First off, so
and he went over to their tent.
Yeah, so
it was instigating.
Yeah.
It was totally instigating. You know, you had a knife in your bag prepared. You went to it as soon as they said something to you, but you initiated the reason for them to have to talk to you. He had no business being in that tent, from my understanding. So why go there other than to instigate something?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think that's going to be real easy to show too.
It doesn't add up at all. I think we need to hear more stories from more people, because like I said, there was no more than 3 people that said their side in the arrest reports.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be an interesting trial to watch for sure, and it's really unfortunate that somebody had to die.
I think that lawyer is going to get eaten alive.
The
one that's representing him,
Karmelo. Yeah.
That dude doesn't seem like he doesn't the acumen for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even see how you can be race baited into this situation as like a jury when you have to come into it blindly and actually like look at the facts. It just doesn't add up. I don't get that comparison to Kyle Rittenhouse. I think that's a funny thing that people are posting.
That's what one of my points was going to make. I was like, they're trying to compare the two, but here's the difference.
Because Kyle's the one that spoke on it, though. Yeah.
But Kyle, here's the difference. Karmelo was at a track meet with a bunch of high schoolers. Kyle was in the middle of a riot. He was on the ground, and the guy was coming after him with a skateboard in his hands.
And he's being attacked by adults.
That could be considered a deadly weapon.
Definitely.
That's the difference.
But yeah, no, I don't like that comparison at all. I get it's like a race thing. I guess both of them are somewhat, the media spun it as a race thing.
But Kyle shot white boys.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really make sense why they are making this comparison. But if he said something, I guess, but still, it's not a great comparison.
Figure, he'll say something dumb and nonsensical, and the media will jump on it and put it out there because it'll help them make their case of how stupid the people on the side defending the white boys are.
Yeah. Do you have the video about the dad of Karmelo Anthony?
I think so. Did I send that to you guys?
You did, yeah. Somebody did.
It was in the chat.
I think both of you sent it, to be honest.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
But I thought that was interesting because I might have a different take than you guys on that one.
Yeah, this one.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family. But he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case. And
Is that the lawyer?
Yep.
That's the
he's
lawyer.
stupid.
And yeah,
they gotta get a
he's
new
totally
one.
dumb. That's why he's saying that.
He's trying to be Johnny Cochran.
He's
so bad.
he's speaking in reference to the dad of the Metcalf boys showing up to this press conference,
Which I agree, completely inappropriate.
maybe, but if
Not
someone killed your son, would appropriateness fucking matter?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But see, that's the mindset. It's like, as the father,
Yep.
I fully understand, but as everybody else in attendance, I would be in fear for safety in general, which doesn't matter to the father. No,
I love that he did it for this reason right here.
Yeah.
The fact that I almost hope it was intentional that he was pulling the card of this attorney, because that guy jumped on it thinking this was an opportune moment for me to say some smart shit and
Sounded
be all
so dumb.
Yeah, and be all smooth. And he played out like a fucking dumbass. Bro.
If you actually like wrote down what he said, none of it made sense. Like he's like,
and then as soon as you throw the racism thing in,
yeah, it's like, dude. First off, he's not making
racism
sense.
made the black kid go into the tent where the white boys that he had a problem with was.
Yeah,
that was racism that made it happen, bro.
He's
like,
just
come
trying
on.
He's trying to build a case.
I know, but if that's the case, then yeah, it was the black kid that was being racist.
Yeah.
If you really want to point it out,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise you're saying racism is what started all this. And it's just like, how? He went to the tent where they were and brought a bag with a knife in it.
Sure.
At first, I thought he was going to say, disrespectful was the wrong use of words. Inappropriate was a great use of words. And then he goes into saying, there's so many operatives online posting about this nonstop. Like, we need to get back to reality and focus on what's real right now. But he didn't say that. He just went off into fucking La La Land and wasted everybody's time with his nonsensical speech that he wanted to put out. So I just don't see that being I didn't know that was a lawyer. That's not a good choice. I thought that was like maybe his dad or something.
No. Bad look,
huh? Yeah, I really hope he has some evidence on his side and we didn't just trash on him for too long. Obviously, you're innocent until proven guilty, but based on the facts we have currently that are actual facts, he is not innocent. So hopefully they bring out some good stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
This race stuff never goes good, man. That's
Well,
for
it just
sure.
never
And they
goes
know it.
away.
And they know it. They know
For
it.
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's all we hear about.
Yeah, especially at a track, like a high school track meet, dude. What are we talking about?
Oh, my God.
That's
Can we
nuts.
just like get past all your racist bullshit?
Yeah, it's bad. Anyway, get in the comments, guys. Let us know what you think. Was this race driven? Was it self-defense? Or was it a bad actor who had an agenda and went with a plan to create some drama?
Just clap cheeks.
Everybody just calm down, clap some cheeks,
That's what
and
I'm
we'd
saying.
have a good life.
It would be a good life.
Oh, yeah. Get in the comments and let us know what you think.
You're going to be clapping cheeks in the comments.
All right, let's take a look at our next segment here. Let's talk Trump's administration's Iran dilemma, diplomacy versus military action. So first we'll talk the halted strike. So just recently here in April, President Donald Trump intervened to stop a planned Israeli military strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. The Israeli operation aimed to delay Iran's nuclear capabilities by at least a year, but required U.S. support for success. Trump's decision to halt the strike was influenced by concerns over potential escalation and the desire to pursue diplomatic negotiations instead. Internal divisions within the administration. So the Trump administration exhibited clear divisions over the approach to Iran. The pro-diplomacy faction, President Donald Trump, he advocated for diplomatic engagement, initiating talks with Iran in Oman and planning further discussions in Rome. Vice President J.D. Vance. He warned against military escalation, emphasizing the risk of a broader conflict. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth supported diplomatic efforts over military action. And then Intelligence Coordinator Tulsi Gabbard advocated for restraint and diplomatic solution. Your pro-military action faction was General Michael Kurilla, supported military intervention to counter Iran's nuclear ambitions, and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz favored supporting Israel's planned strike on Iran. Military preparations. Despite the decision to halt the strike, the U.S. had already deployed significant military assets to the region, including B-2 bombers and an additional aircraft carrier, signaling readiness to support Israel if necessary. Ongoing diplomatic efforts. Following the aborted strike, the U.S. and Iran engaged in diplomatic talks in Oman, marking the first such engagement during Trump's current term. Both parties described the discussions as positive and constructive, with plans for a follow-up meeting in Rome. Broader implications. The internal divisions within the Trump administration highlight the complexities of U.S. foreign policy toward Iran, balancing the desire to prevent nuclear proliferation with the risk of military conflict. So, hot topic here, because things could have been real ugly had there not been people that wanted to see some kind of diplomatic response.
See, this is where Trump needs to step up, and the people that he trusts around him need to step up and say, no, we're not going to do this.
Right.
This is...
And so far, the primary people that are involved here did do that.
I was going to say, that's what happened.
For sure.
Yeah.
If that Mike Waltz thing is true, that's disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Because he's a vet too. And war is not popular.
Yeah.
No.
Especially with Iran on behalf
Especially
of
right
Israel,
now,
bro.
War is not
like it doesn't. It's a bad look for us to be in such defensive coordination with Israel over shit like this, man.
Yeah.
It's clear what that's all about, and here we are being like we should assist them with that.
Yeah.
Like I love that they chose the diplomatic approach, but like it says in the article, they already moved a bunch of military assets over there, bro, B-2 bombers and all. So it's like, it's going to happen eventually, or why are we there? Why do we post or posture up like that if our agenda is to be diplomatic? I don't know.
So it's kind of like what do you call it? Catch-22. Like there's two sides to a coin, right?
Yep.
On one side, we're saying like, no, stay out of it, right? But then on the other side, Iran is the focal point to every single terrorist organization that we have. They are
What do you mean the focal point?
They are the biggest funders of all these different terrorist organizations that are out there right now.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen the implications of that.
That would make us the biggest funders of it, because we gave them all that money.
We did give them a lot of money for sure.
We give everybody else
Taliban a lot of money too.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
But Iran funds all of them.
Yeah, but you got to fund them so you can go to war with them.
We fund everybody else too, though. That's
we do, yeah.
Like,
including Israel.
Yeah.
But my point is that we haven't seen the implications of that yet.
Yeah.
And if Sarah Adams is right, we're going to see that unless Trump was able to lock down the United States and catch every single one of them. But that's my point is that, dude, Iran, I don't think that they have as big of a arsenal as we're scared of, dude.
Yeah.
If we wanted to, we could have these bunker bombs go down there and blow the shit out of all of it.
Yeah, I find it odd that Iran is like the target for us when China is like, it's just knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Just like, and they could actually do a lot more to us than
Iran.
If China were to sneak attack us, they'd get a really good head start.
Yeah.
On doing some damage before we are able to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Iran. I don't think anything's going to happen here. I am still more worried about China. The other thing about China is, did you guys watch that video of that I posted on my story about all the factories, like people are starting the factories on fire because they've been out of work for so long?
In
I
China?
didn't see that.
No.
China's economy is crumbling.
Have you seen? Oh, this is gonna.
That's
throw
only
us-
going to antagonize them more, though.
Have you
They
seen?
have to come to the table.
They do. They're gonna have
Otherwise,
to.
they're fucked. They can't go to war.
Didn't
'cause they're
he say
getting
they
broke.
raised them to like 245%?
Yeah.
Tariffs?
Was it 245? I
Yeah.
thought it 145.
Oh, he raised it to 245.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Trump did.
Yep.
Somebody said today that they want to come to the table to talk.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
They said they're ready to fight.
When?
That's what they last
Yeah.
said, at least.
Yeah. They said they're
However,
more
they
than
have
prepared.
to, and
yeah.
they're going to give up after 1.5 weeks.
All right, you guys continue to talk.
I mean, that's kind of the way the game works, though. You know, like this is all political showmanship, too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? On top
definitely.
of potential threats.
Well, that's
But,
why
like,
China's that Xi Jinping is going all these Asian countries trying to get them to go
Rally
against the United States.
us. Yeah.
But that's not going to work.
Have you guys seen any Instagram like reels on people who are like giving us Chinese websites to buy products from without the name brand on them, but the same
Yes.
manufacturers?
they're saying that they're the ones making the product, and it's being called like faux, products or fake, reels and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the actual stuff.
The actual designer manufacturer of
They're
the product.
selling it like crazy right now.
And then they sell it or send it to Barcelona or wherever they go, and get the names put on them and stuff. So I thought that was super interesting, and that was like heavily on my reel feed
Yeah.
2-3 days ago.
Yeah,
So that
I've
was
seen those.
interesting. But it's funny how easy they can just like get into our heads about stuff like that. And
Oh, they're manipulating, bro.
It's
Like
so
I said,
simple.
we've been in cyber warfare for the last 5 years at least. bro.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like this is what we're seeing. World War III is completely different than we would have ever expected it to look like.
Definitely.
So you guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is according to Grok. No definitive evidence suggests China is ready to drop tariffs in the United States as of April 17th. Instead, recent reports indicate escalating trade tensions, with China raising tariffs on U.S. goods to 125% in retaliation to U.S. tariffs reaching 145% on Chinese imports. Chinese officials have expressed willingness to negotiate, but only under conditions of mutual respect and equality, emphasizing they will fight to the end if the U.S. continues to impose high tariffs. A post on X claimed China offered to drop tariffs to 0% if the U.S. reciprocates, but this is lack of corroboration from reliable sources, and it contradicts China's official stance of resolute counteraction. Beijing's Commerce Ministry has called U.S. tariffs exemptions on certain tech products a small step, but urged the U.S. to abolish reciprocal tariffs entirely, indicating no immediate plan to reduce their own tariffs. No plan.
Well, thank you.
Fuck them, dude. Let's bring all the tech over to the United States. I saw that NVIDIA is going to bring over their chip building factories over to the United States already.
See, but that's from Taiwan, isn't it? NVIDIA was out of Taiwan.
It doesn't matter. They're still going to build them in the United States. We still have to pay tariffs on those.
Yeah. I mean, but the fact was we were already protecting Taiwan. They owe us.
They do owe us.
They owe us.
They do owe us.
So,
But
Big time.
a lot of those the factories that we have over there starting to build in the United States. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, like going back to being a manufacturing, like if that actually occurs over the next 3 years and we become a manufacturing plant again.
powerhouse.
Yeah, like what is that going to be like? And also those layoffs were so dramatic.
John, I'll send this to you. I'll send this. Play this. It's in the chat.
This
Yep.
Right now, their country's falling apart. People have not been paid in 6 months, these factory workers down there. People are burning down factories, dozens of factories all over the country because people are fed up. They're not getting paid. China is falling apart from the inside out. They're trying to maintain this face.
Yeah, do you think that those internal tensions that they're facing could threaten the regime?
Absolutely. I mean, when people are starving, when they have no money, you're going to lose the government. Like, you can't have an unstable base like that. He's fighting a war on the outside and a war on the inside.
Well, don't you think that would incentivize Xi to want to make a deal with the United States as fast as possible?
Yeah, you would think that, but that's not how China works. It's all about saving face. They have to preserve that image that China is rock solid.
Because if they were willing to sacrifice on the pride, they would make a deal with the United States. We would lower barriers reciprocally, bilaterally, and probably both countries
Would benefit
would do
massively,
better as a
yeah.
consequence. But you say pride stops that, but then on the other side of that pride is the realism of these challenging internal economic dynamics. What do you think gives first?
China is a communist country, first and foremost. You cannot give the people too much power in that situation. The state is holding it together with an iron fist. And if they start trying to make compromises here and compromises there, that immortal, implacable facade that they have just starts eroding. Hopefully all this sets up a scenario where we can have a fall of the Berlin Wall, a fall of the Great Wall.
Dude, if that doesn't feel like propaganda, I don't know what does.
It totally felt that way. I was thinking that right out the gate.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this feels almost like fake.
It might be true, but it felt really propaganda. Like it was just a weird
Well, I
vibe.
think that's just how it's edited, though.
Yeah, that could be.
Because that was during a news segment, you know.
Yeah. But like the video too, like it's so hard to believe anything nowadays.
You know who that was, right?
Huh?
That was Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, that was Matt Gaetz.
I don't know who that is.
He was a congressman out of Florida, and he resigned. He was actually picked to be the attorney general for Trump before Bondi,
Okay.
and then resigned.
But then they found he was too compromised and he had to step down. They
Or
just
not
didn't- They didn't
compromised.
just tell us that story, though.
So, how would he know anything about China?
Well, he's in the news, like he's a broadcaster now.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say overall this is an interesting story. I'm excited to see how it develops, but I'm also a little worried. You know, like this could be a big deal, man. And the fact that we keep defending Israel over the craziest nonsensical things that have no real matter to us, man, is absolutely absurd.
It all comes back to China.
I think it's very odd that people are so against what's going on with Trump doing the tariffs. After seeing it, it's working.
I don't think it's the majority of people, though, bro. I really think that the majority of people are seeing it and going, hell yeah. I see more people saying, hey, we might have to hurt for a little bit, but it's going to be fucking worth it. You know,
Yeah.
and like
The never Trumpers
Yeah.
are the ones that are bitching.
they're the only ones, and
They
they're not
were bitching
making
to
any
begin with.
sense in the regard that they're in denial.
And that's totally
you
fine. Like, whatever.
know? Yeah.
Do you just imagine if Kamala Harris was president right now? What do you think we'd be talking about?
We'd already be in war or some
Dude,
shit,
you'd
bro.
be in the Philippines right now.
Yeah, you'd
I'd
be
be in
fighting, bro.
Ukraine. Freaking,
Yeah.
that'd be nuts.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on this situation as well. If we bomb Iran, is World War III officially kicking off in terms of weapons used? Could get ugly. In our final segment, let's take a look at something that's kind of breaking news that just, I think, kicked off today. FSU campus shooting leaves 2 dead and 6 injured. I believe the report is more now. There's 5 dead, if I'm not mistaken. But incident overview at approximately 11:50 a.m. on April 17th, today, a shooting occurred near the Student Union at Florida State University in Tallahassee. The suspect, identified as 20-year-old FSU student Phoenix Eichner, opened fire, resulting in 2 fatalities and 6 injuries. Eichner, the son of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy, used his mother's former service handgun in the attack. He was apprehended by law enforcement after being shot and is currently hospitalized. Campus response, FSU issued an immediate lockdown instructing students and staff to shelter in place. Law enforcement secured the campus by mid-afternoon and the lockdown was lifted. Classes were canceled through Friday, April 18th, and all home athletic events were suspended through Sunday, April 20th. Victims, so far the 2 deceased individuals were not FSU students. 6 others were injured, with 1 in critical condition. Authorities have not yet identified a motive for the shooting. Eichner had participated in the Leon County Sheriff's Office's Youth Advisory Council and had access to firearms. The FBI and local law enforcement are conducting an ongoing investigation. And then as far as some reactions, we had President Donald Trump express his condolences, stating, "It's a horrible thing. It's horrible that things like this take place." And Fred Guttenberg, father of a Parkland shooting victim, noted that some of his daughter's friends now attending FSU experienced their second
That's
school
awful.
shooting. So what gives with these damn school shootings and the connections between these people, man? First of all, always white, but second of all,
That's true.
like, is this going to become a thing? Like schools having an actual protocol, like for an earthquake or a tornado. They have protocol now for mass shootings.
Yeah.
That's crazy that we're living in these times. And what triggers these people to say, you know, like, I've never been so mad. I've been mad enough to want to kill somebody. You know what I mean? I've never been so mad to say, I just want to go kill a bunch of random people as a result of someone else pissing me off.
Yeah.
That's never crossed my mind. There's something far bigger and deeper going on here that I don't think we're being told or we can comprehend, because it just doesn't seem logical to me.
College is one thing, but elementary school,
That's insane.
that takes a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's absurd.
That's a whole nother level. That's almost like, that's just straight possession.
Do you
I
think
don't know
this
what you
is
call it.
this is happening more frequently in the past like 10, 15 years because of
It's an agenda.
that too, but because suicide is like much more like stigmatized and people are like talking about it more, and so people don't want to commit suicide? Or is it just like this is what they do? These people are just insane.
This might be a conspiratorial question. Was there any school shootings during Biden administration?
I think there was. Of course there was. That, like all the ones that happened recently. With
There was one in Texas.
The lesbian.
Yeah,
the,
that one
the,
was.
the kids. The Texas one, and like the Baltimore one, where it was like a grocery store mass shooting. We had a bunch of them.
Yeah, there was. I feel like there was at least 2.
I just didn't know if that was before. Okay.
So check this out. This is a video of the kid walking the campus and dumping at people. He's got the handgun on him, and he's just strolling. He's going to be walking past right
outside?
here. This is outside at the campus. Someone got footage of it happening.
That's insane.
Yeah. Let's see
People are wild, first off, to record that.
Whoa. The hell was that?
trying to make it bigger.
Oh.
Let's see what we got. Right there. Just casually cruising, bro. He was loading the gun again, it looked like, and then just started dumping on people walking by.
So he's walking in the parking lot.
Yeah, well, this is like the campus. Look, right here.
Oh.
Right there, that's him. Look at him. He's going to turn and dump on those people.
So does his mom go to jail?
Well, it sounds like he was part of some kind of a youth like program that he had access to the guns, is what they're saying. I don't know if that necessarily means he took. Well, I know he was using his mom's gun, but he had access to guns as part of the sheriff's youth thing of some sort. So again, it just feels too convenient.
So does his mom go to jail?
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know. He was living with his mom, right?
I don't know. Was he, John? You know anything about
I
that?
don't
See,
know anything about that.
He's 20.
I'm kind of siding with that. If you're living with the parent and he has access to that weapon and he used that weapon in a murder.
See,
But did he take the weapon from home, or did he take it from the sheriff's office where they're holding these youth
it
cancel
says a
things?
retired. That's at home.
retired.
Yeah, but it also says that he was a part of a youth program and had access to it.
I think that's just saying over time. So he's developed in police activity.
Yeah.
I don't think that is stating that it is his mom's gun,
Yep.
her protection gun.
Yep.
Yeah, he did use her gun.
So, but as an adult, like I can access people's weapons that I know, and if I caused a crime, would that fall back on them because they're not?
But would it matter because
That's what I'm trying to dissect. So it says here that he participated in the Leon County Sheriff's Office's Youth Advisory Council and had access to firearms.
See, that's the thing.
I mean,
So-
that could be them just going out to the range to,
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like if I can,
Yeah, it's kind of
access-
vague. I know you're right about that. It is pretty vague of a statement.
I can access my mother's firearm, right?
Right.
So if I took her firearm and committed a crime, does she deserve to go to jail,
I don't
even though I'm
think so.
25 years old?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So just underage?
If you're underage, someone has to be a responsible party, I would think.
But
Yeah,
what's the difference
that's true.
between
I'm sure the mom could be tried for something, maybe not murder,
That's
but
true.
negligence or something like that. You know what I mean? But as an
He's an
adult
adult.
kid,
Yeah.
bro, it's all on his dumb ass.
But I mean 17 to 20, what are we talking, Like
Well,
that's
yeah.
tough.
I mean, 18 is the age of accountability for an adult, bro. So the law's the law.
It's true.
That's tough. That's a tough call because even if the kid was 17, are you going to say the mom deserves to go to jail?
I think she would deserve to be charged with negligence of some sort. Maybe not necessarily jail time, but yeah, she should be punished, for negligence.
Yeah.
Like he was a kid and, he knew the safe code or he had access to the weapons and he shouldn't have, and he was left unattended. Like there's got to be, a lot of rules involved here. Did he have firearm training? Does she feel confident that he was capable of knowing how to use these weapons, and he's been to schooling and got licensed or something, so I mean, there's so many things missing. It's a very vague statement, I guess, on their behalf, but
if there was any signs.
I don't think the mom should be charged in the case of an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, the tough thing is like, even with those 2 guys that we put up last week, is they're 17 years old, and if they don't have a parent guardian with them while they're hunting or shooting guns, is that okay?
Sure.
Why?
Why not?
Because the parent is responsible for the firearm overall.
Oh, you mean they're actually out hunting without any supervision?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess if the rules say you can't do that, then it's not okay.
Well,
what do the rules say, though? Are you allowed to, as a teenager, go hunting without adult supervision?
I never hunted.
You'd had to have been trained in gun safety.
Assuming that there was not adult there.
Right, but you had to have been trained in gun safety already, you know what I mean? In order to even get a license to hunt and, shoot a gun and all that stuff as a kid. So what I'm asking, is there a law that says, even though you have all this training or the credentials to technically be out doing that, do you have to still have adult supervision?
I would assume so.
I would think so, yeah.
I would assume so. I'm not 100%
But I mean,
sure.
That's not what happened, and that's not what
I'm just saying, in the situation where if one of those 2 kids did something inappropriate with that gun, that would reflect on the parents, right? Even though they're fully trained in being able to use a gun?
Yeah, because they were underage.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Now, a 20-year-old kid who did that, it's his own fault.
And then we got to talk about like mental health, like what is really going on with people wanting to kill other people? It makes no sense.
It's nuts, man.
They're just normalizing it seems like.
But it's like you can't take stuff like that as a joke anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people make comments like this I see people all the time post stuff on social media talking about, they'll do this, they'll do that, or they're sick and tired of this, and anyone tries them, they're going to feel it. Like I've seen so much nonsense like that. And the first instinct I get is like, whoever they're talking about and reads that should take serious action against them, whether it be to defend yourself, go find them, call the cops, whatever it may be. Yeah. Like we can't just take this kind of stuff too lightly anymore. It's getting crazy out there.
Definitely.
Like really crazy. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen actual pictures of this kid, but he looks off. Like he doesn't look.
So they're more than likely with
he doesn't look mentally healthy. Have you guys seen a picture of him?
I have not. I only saw what you sent us earlier today.
What did I say his name was? Something Eichner?
I got it up on my phone too. Just saying gun.
New York Post got one of them. I mean this respectfully when I say he looks off, but you'll get it when you see something isn't right.
Yeah.
He looks slow. Don't he look slow? Come on, bro.
He genuinely looks like he has features of someone who may have Down syndrome. That's kind of crazy. He's got a huge head, though, with that being said. No offense.
No offense to who?
To his parents. I don't know.
To his mom.
Yeah,
See,
that's his mom there too.
Like how Shane Gillis says in his stand-up, he's like, autism just missed me a little bit,
Yeah.
He looks like he might not be autistic or have Down syndrome, but he looks like he almost has features of someone who has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
And they shot him, apparently, huh?
The cops did?
Yeah, they shot him, but they didn't kill him. He's been arrested.
See, that's the nice thing about that. I mean, at least they can question him and see.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God he was white. Right?
No, they usually kill themselves in this situation. So
I don't know. Most of these mass shooters aren't getting killed, bro. They're getting arrested, and we're seeing the same, common similarities in them. They're all like weird looking, outcast kind of behavior.
I don't know. They blasted that trans shooter.
Yeah, they did. But I mean,
they blasted her
when they shot her.
Maybe
that was the best footage of. That was the best footage of like tactical weaponry and just like overall execution I've ever seen.
Wasn't it one of the only ones where they made the decision to say fuck them telling us to stand back. They went in and got it.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's clearly someone was involved in that situation where that person was killed that shouldn't have been involved, wasn't following the protocol to what they wanted to have happen, I think is what we're witnessing there. In every other case scenario, they survive them, bro, because they want to put them on the stand and display how distraught and mentally unstable they are.
But they usually don't and you gotta mute that probably, but they usually don't last. They usually take themselves out. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that people had to get hurt, obviously, and die. You can't trust anybody.
No, we're living in crazy times, man. But yeah, so unfortunate. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more breaking news and stuff that comes out over the weekend. So, you know, when this drops on Monday, I'm sure we'll be a little bit behind on the news on this particular situation. But as news develops, man, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out on this kid and, you know, the shooting and why he did it, or, you know, does he have a manifesto out there? Is there more information yet to be shared? We might find out over the weekend because this just happened hours ago today. So
yeah, I'd really like to hear if somebody has an opposing opinion on the Karmelo Anthony one. If they want to comment, and it would be interesting to have somebody on that.
Yeah. Give us something to respond to, and we'll talk about it on the next show.
It'd be good.
Cool. All right, man. That's all I got for you guys today. Good to go.
Good to go.
Right on.
Wait. You guys watch any of the UFC fights last weekend? They were really good.
I didn't watch them.
They were super good. So Michael Chandler got beat up, dude.
He's the next guy, huh?
Yeah, he's the next guy. And it's crazy because Dustin Poirier was talking crap. He was like, he wasn't talking crap, but he was like, Patty did a really good job, but Michael Chandler looks like he's old.
Yeah.
And he's losing his step. And I was like, dude, Patty would destroy Dustin Poirier so fast too. That's the crazy thing. So, but that fight was really good, and the Volk fight versus Diego Lopez was an insane fight.
Yeah, I heard that was a good one.
Diego Lopez can just take an absolute punch, like
he always has. Too.
And
that's
just
why I like him so much.
Walks through it too. Yeah. He's just a monster, dude. So he'll be top dog one day here. Just not this time. Volk is king. So it was good, really good card, worth buying for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, we're out of here. Peace.
That's it.
No, I'm just kidding. Right on, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the show. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. It does not really matter as long as you are talking about us. Peace.